Thought I'm in interview.
Afternoon, Mark. How we doing?
Good, mate. How you doing yourself?
Yeah, good. So, firstly, yeah, thanks for taking this time to come on this testimony call. So, within this video, also we're going to have a little bit of back and forth about, what you've been going through over the past 90 days of being part of the Abz Method, what you enjoyed, what you found hard, what you found most achievable, and sort of where your head's at now. So, we just take it back to our first call at the beginning of 2025 in January, and why you wanted to come on board.
Well, first off, obviously, I've trained on and off for a long time, done all tried different diets and different fads and all that. And I wanted to come on with someone who I believe I could trust to give me the right information, etc., for what I need to do personally, rather than just a overall for the world sort of thing. So I felt like, obviously, with what you've done in the past, I felt like you'd probably be one of the good ones that I could probably believe in what you're actually telling me. Sort of makes sense.
Okay, appreciate the kind words. So, when we had our first conversation back in January, and you was like, "No, right, I need to make a lifestyle change," and we spoke about what we're going to do because obviously we based the program around you. You're a contracts manager for a busy company within central London, so you've got early starts and late finishes. So, one thing which we needed to establish was that routine. So, if you think back, we was like, right, the night before. It's all about your preparation. Pack your gym bag, have your food ready. So when you wake up early doors, it goes in the car. And then once you get on the transport, when you finish work, one, you got your food with you, and two, you got your stuff ready to train. So once you snapped into that, how did you find that works for you?
I'll be honest, without the without the prepping, I struggle, to be honest. I probably prep more now than I used to, or like I have in the past. If I prep, everything goes to plan, which I've noticed. Some days where I try not to prep, and I'm trying to find different meals while I'm out and about in London, but you can find something, but it's never quite the same. Whereas I find get everything ready. The meal prep for me is massive. When I do a big meal prep on a Sunday, set me up for the week. Um,
Right.
yeah, that's a big change, and knowing exactly what I'm putting in there as well,
Yeah. So
which I'm more strict on than I've ever been.
by that home cooking, and that discipline, like I said, that prepping is setting you up for a good week ahead. When you're a bit tired or whatever, you've kind of got those wheels and motions in order to have a successful week. So if we move on to the first question, how were you feeling about the Abs method before you made the decision to join? Was so sort of answer that in your sort of own words, really.
Well, like probably most things you join at first, you do feel a little bit nervous. You feel a little bit like, is this actually going to work? Am I going to be able to stick to it? Like, there's obviously a lot of doubts in your mind for both. Is it going to work for me? And personally, for me, is it something I can stick to? Um, Now, yeah, I found it probably easier to stick to than I thought. I feel like finding a couple of little tips and the little twists and obviously changing up little things here and there to suit me, obviously
Yeah.
has helped me get through it. But yeah, like I think probably when anyone starts any sort of fitness thing, the first thing you probably do always think is it actually going to work for me? Um,
Yeah.
so that's the biggest one. That was the biggest at the start, I would
Okay.
say.
Yeah, finding a method which would work for you, really, isn't it? Where you feel comfortable. Brilliant. So, what was your situation before you come on board? So, like, well, what I mean by that, the situation of yourself. Where was you at? Where was your head at? With your current lifestyle. Like, just sort of explain a little bit.
Well, basically, obviously, I've trained on and off for years. Last June, I think I broke my knee playing football. I was probably half a stone overweight at that point anyway. And then I had 6 months on crutches last year, which I then put on probably another stone and a half, not moving around, sitting on my ass. And then once I come off the crutches, which was probably about the start of October last year, from October to December, I didn't do anything about it. I was in the motions. I was still eating what I wanted. I wasn't doing any training, even though I could get back to it. And then I went away at Christmas for a month to Thailand, obviously not eating
Yeah.
healthy again. And then, yeah, coming back from there, I was all happy from there. But then when I come back and reality setting and I'm looking at the photos and stuff, and I'm like, whew, what's happened, basically?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It's time to take
so,
ownership.
yeah, so it got to the point where I was like, I'm probably in the worst shape I've ever been. And I need to do something about it. Yeah, so
Yeah, so I
that's
think that
pretty.
that leads us kind of onto the next question. Really, was like, what made you decide to commit? And I think that was it, wasn't it? Really, you kind of. come back from there, and after the injury, you probably thought, it's one of those. If I don't make a drastic change now, it's just 3 months are going to go by, 6 months are going to go by, and
Yeah,
then you're closer to your birthday at the back end of the year, so it's like it's kind of an all or nothing situation in a way.
I could see that I was going to keep slipping. I'll be honest. And I feel like I like to have routine as well and focus. And I find that obviously doing the Abz method, with me giving the routine and what I've got to do, and that's half of my problem. So I get to the gym, I know what I'm doing. All I've got to make sure is I'm hitting the calories, protein, etc. That obviously the guidelines. But training wise, I ain't got to
I've,
think about it. I just rock up and
yeah,
do what I need to do, which
yeah,
is half of it, I think, isn't it? Making sure you're doing the right
yeah, and
things.
that's what I tried saying, not just to yourself, but to other people on board or people looking to come on board. Like my methodology is like it's got to be around the person's lifestyle. So you got
Pros.
to, yeah, I've got to understand, everyone's lifestyle and their work. Everyone's got a job and kids, etc. So
Sorry, mate, I can't
you
hear
know,
you.
oh really?
Screen's gone.
I can hear you fine. You back in?
You've gone all black, mate. No, you're
Have I?
back. You're back. You're back.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
no
you're back.
worries. A bit of a internet IT issue there, but yeah, I mean that's obviously what I try to put across. Is it's about hammering down the routine. So it's like checking off those macros daily, checking off the workout, checking off your water. Like, once we start ticking these boxes off, and then we start checking every 2 weeks, you start to see on the grams and stuff and the photos which I send over, you start seeing that progression. So we'll move on to the final question. Was like, how do you feel now at the end of the 90 days, and speak a little bit about what you've gone through and what you've achieved within the 90-day period.
Well, the first thing I'd say is I'm now a bit gutted. I didn't do it before I went away last year. So, if anything, I
Yeah,
probably wish I'd
hindsight's
started a bit
hindsight's a
sooner.
brilliant thing. Yeah,
But all in all, obviously, I'm 12 weeks in now. I've lost just over 2 stone,
yeah, it's insane.
which is more than I anticipated. I would have been happy with my original target, which I think was about 1.5 stone.
Yeah,
So very happy with what we've done so far. Obviously I've had my dips and I've had my bad days, I've had my good days, but as the time's gone on, I've learned a bit more. Obviously, you've helped me learn a bit about that. It's you can have the odd blip here and there, but it's how you get over that, and
for
overall
sure.
that you're being consistent. Which now I find that I'm more and more comfortable with doing. Don't get me wrong, you have your hungry days, you have your tired days, as you still
Yeah,
always would. But I'll be honest with you, mentally, I found it better. I found having someone there has made me focus that bit more, made me
yeah,
be a bit more accountable for what I'm doing. The days when you're not maybe feeling it, or you've obviously you're there to obviously monitor and make sure that I'm getting done what I need to get done without putting the pressure on me.
yeah,
So yeah, I'll be honest with you. Before I was obviously on a bit of a downer. I was probably the heaviest I've been, the heaviest and the most body fat that I've probably ever had.
yeah,
So yeah, 12 weeks in, I'm now happy and smiling with my with what I've done so far, and the goal
yeah,
has massively changed. Like
for
I've gone
sure.
from wanting to just get back to what I was to now feeling like I can actually probably get in the best shape I've ever been.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm
so
40 this year, so
yeah,
if
yeah.
we can get into the best shape I've ever been, that's pretty good achievement.
For sure. I mean, one thing I would say from working with you, you've been a gem to work with so far. You're very receptive, very head focused. You ask lots of questions, which is good. And you've got to very much get on with that attitude. And if you're not sure of something, you do ask. Like you had a bit of a blip with a shoulder injury, no problem. We looked at a professional to get looked at. Shout out to Tom, by the way, at Embodied Health and Henley. And we scaled your program slightly because we didn't want you to get injured, and within the 90 days we've actually overachieved the goals which we want. So it's been like what, more than a kilo fat loss per week in the 12-week period. So now you're going
Yeah,
to go away next week, in a bit of a break, away on the super bikes over in Spain, but you're going to be strict, get a bit of sun, and then we've wrote out the new 90-day program starting the back end of April, and we've got a new focus pushing forward, and you're hungrier than ever. So now it's a case of, we've done the building block foundations of the 90 days, and now we're going to start the next chapter. So
Yeah,
what
I'll
I
be
would
honest.
say,
I'm excited now. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what stage I can get to. I feel like now this is going to be like taking it to another level. Do you know what I
I
mean?
think so. I think so. So that being said, you've been a pleasure to work with. I'm looking forward to the next stage, and yeah, we'll catch up obviously when you're back. So
Yeah.
take it
Cheers for all your
easy.
help,
Thank you.
Geese. Appreciated.
You're welcome. Bye bye.